To win my gangster girlfriend's love, I spent for years pretending to be a weak, pretty boy at her side. Yet I could never warm her heart. In the end, I faked my death and escaped. 2 years later, the moment I got off the plane, my buddies dragged me to a bar to get some action. As soon as I sat down, my buddy pointed at me and said, "Whoever lands him, I'll give her 5 million. Then he moved beside Xiaohan, ready to enjoy the show. The female models beamed the moment they heard it. They had never met a man so generous. They swarmed around me. Some raised glasses and invited me to drink. Others fluttered their bright eyes, racking their brains for interesting topics. Others, bashful yet bold, unbuttoned their jackets, seemingly casually showing off their beautiful curves. They hovered beside me, eager to please. They were driving me insane. I was already exhausted from the flight, and now I had to deal with them. My buddies, Shen Rui and Xiaohan, sat across from me, laughing until tears streamed down their faces. Just then, 10 beautiful women emerged from a private room upstairs. The younger generation of the Su family was gathering that day. The private room had grown stuffy, so they came out for some air. They leaned against the railing, drinking from their glasses. Su Wanning, the eldest daughter of the Su family, wore an elegant black dress. She asked coolly, "Are you still leaving?" The others turned their heads too, looking at their youngest sister. Clearly, they cared deeply about it. Su Qingyue, dressed in a white gown, took a sip of wine and slowly said, "My business in the United States isn't settled yet." Her 9 older sisters were unhappy to hear that, but they could not stop her. Then, everyone's attention was drawn to the 10 models downstairs. Everyone in the bar was watching Xiaohan and the others. The models surrounded me, showed off their skin-tight, sexy dance outfits and began to dance. Their dance was provocative and bold. Xiaohan and Shen Rui could barely stop laughing. Seeing my face darken, they laughed even harder. Shen Rui leaned close to Xiaohan and asked, "What do you think? My money wasn't wasted, right?" Xiaohan pushed him away and raised a brow at me. "It only counts if one of them gets into his bed." Shen Rui pretended not to hear, still grinning eagerly. "Want me to pick a few for you?" Xiaohan took a drink, then gave him a sit-along look. "7th brother-in-law. Don't forget, I'm your eldest brother-in-law." That hit a nerve. Shen Rui scratched his head irritably. Half a year ago, the Su daughters were to enter arranged marriages. The Shen and Xiao families were their first choices. I escaped that fate because I was abroad holding an art exhibition. Those two were not so lucky. Xiaohan was engaged to Su Wanning. Shen Rui was engaged to her younger sister, Su Mengting. They had to marry by next year at the latest. For the past 6 months, neither dared fool around in public. No kidding. The Su family was one of Huaguo's most powerful families. Who would dare cheat on one of their women? That would be asking for death. But Shen Rui's rebellious streak flared up that day. He grabbed a bottle of liquor and drained it. Then he began cursing. "Fuck. Today, I'm going rogue." With that, he rose and strode backstage to pick a model. I watched him leave through the gaps between a row of slender waist. I called out to Xiaohan, "Where's he going now?" Slightly tipsy, Xiaohan answered as he drank. "To find a woman." I was about to say more, but a glimpse of a model's cleavage flashed before my eyes. Even my patience finally snapped. "Stop dancing." Seeing I was angry, the models immediately stopped. They stood there helplessly, afraid to move. I took a black card from my pocket. "Run the card, then don't come back." Shen Rui returned, snatched the card, and sat down beside us. "I'll pay. No one leaves. Keep dancing for us." Xiaohan glanced at Shen Rui beside him and teased, "Where is she?" Shen Rui leaned back on the sofa, looking disgusted. "The only ones left are a sorry-looking bunch. Would you even want one?" Xiaohan only smiled and said nothing. Shen Rui made a show of pulling over the most enthusiastic dancer. He pushed her straight onto the sofa. His fingertips lightly traced the model's gracefully curved collarbone, yet his eyes were fixed on Xiaohan. "Want to have some fun?" Xiaohan's smile vanished as he looked at Shen Rui and warned, "I advise you not to. You need to know when to stop. Otherwise, if you're found out, you know better than I do what price you'll pay." Shen Rui's face darkened as he withdrew his hand. He stood, took a gold card from his pocket and tossed it to the model. "Run the card. Don't come back." The models were not stupid. They caught the implication, took the card, and left. Just then, Xiaohan's phone rang. Seeing it was Su Wanning, he frowned. After hesitating, he answered, "Having fun, fiancé." Xiaohan's heart sank at her voice. Hearing the familiar music on her end, he could not help panicking. But he showed none of it. He looked around but did not see Su Wanting. Then he suddenly looked up. All the Su sisters stood at the second-floor railing, looking down at us. Xiao Han swept his gaze upward. Among them, he spotted an unfamiliar woman. She was very beautiful, with a quiet, gentle air. His instincts told him she was anything but simple. She must be the Tensu daughter, raised overseas since childhood. Xiao Han then turned his eyes to Su Wanting. He replied calmly, "Not bad." After that, both held their phones in silence. Soon, Su Wanting lowered her phone. Holding her wine glass, she looked at him. Xiao Han raised his own glass and drank to her from afar. Naturally, Shen Rui noticed. When he saw Su Mengting upstairs, he wanted to curse his damn head off. What rotten luck. Su Mengting had not called him. But Shen Rui's father would definitely chew him out tomorrow. He might even get a brutal beating. Seeing their grim faces from across the table, I quickly asked, "What's wrong? Did something happen?" Shen Rui decided to throw caution to the wind. He answered with a wild laugh. "Our fiancés caught us red-handed. What do you think we should do?" Xiao Han could not help laughing too. He thought Shen Rui was reckless and foolish, only panicking after trouble came. But I was completely confused. I had drunk quite a lot too. Remembering their arranged marriages with the sus, I sobered up somewhat. Hu and Huaguo didn't fear the Su family's power. I saw Xiao Han looking upstairs, so I turned to look too. The moment I did, every hair on my body stood on end. I could not make out anyone else's face, but I saw Su Qingyu clearly. Su Qingyu upstairs noticed me too. She froze for a full 5 seconds. Her lovely face was filled with malice. A cruel smile curled at her lips. Her eyes locked onto me. She looked ready to rush down and devour me alive. Then the deafening music stopped. Yet the atmosphere turned strangely eerie. Xiao Han, Shen Rui, and the Su sisters upstairs were not fools either. How could they not see that Su Qingyu and I knew each other? They clearly knew each other very well. Before Shen Rui could ask, I anxiously turned away. I jumped up, grabbed my clothes, and rushed out. I did not care who I bumped into. I ran for my life. Su Qingyu watched my retreating figure from upstairs. She drained her glass. Then she vaulted over the railing and leaped down. Landing steadily, she came after me. Outside the bar, I was panicking out of my mind. How could I run into Su Qingyu again? Su Qingyu? Her surname was Su. Could she be the Su family's youngest princess? I'm doomed. My ex-girlfriend was actually the legendary youngest daughter the Su family treasured beyond measure. I had no time to think and raced across 5 streets. Only once, I was far enough from the bar. Did I stop at the roadside to hail a cab? I had only returned to Huaguo that day. I had not told my family yet, so naturally, no driver was there to pick me up. I could not hail a cab for ages. I kept looking over my shoulder, terrified that woman would come after me. Luckily, an empty cab pulled over. Just as I was about to get in, someone grabbed me from behind. I knew that woman's perfume all too well. I struggled violently. I slapped at the back of her hand with both hands. Let me go. This is Huaguo. What you're doing is against the law. Su Qingyu ignored me and kept walking. I refused to give up. I must have picked the worst possible day to run into this jinx. Su Qingyu. Let go, or I'll call the police. Su Qingyu still ignored me. I really wanted to call the police, but she had already taken my phone. What was I supposed to call them with? I was furious. Su Qingyu dragged me to the nearest hotel. Unfortunately, it belonged to the Su family too. Once inside the room, she deadbolted the door. Then she violently shoved me onto the bed. The fall left me dizzy and seeing stars. The moment I sat up, a gun barrel was pressed to my head. Su Qingyu smiled at me. Why did you run? I didn't dare move. I only pursed my lips. When I said nothing, Su Qingyu's eyes turned cold. Holding the gun in her left hand, she lightly nudged my forehead. Speak. If you wait until I fire, it'll be too late to talk. I forced myself to calm down, but my voice still trembled. I wasn't running. I just wanted to go home. My answer made Su Qingyu laugh in anger. You weren't running? You should know what happens to people who lie to me. As she spoke, she reached out her other hand and grabbed my collar. I was utterly powerless to resist Su Qingyu. Her domineering presence washed over me. Su Qingyu stared at me with bloodshot eyes. I'm asking why you broke up with me. I thought of the letter I had left a year ago. It had explained everything clearly. I could not stand Su Qingyu's suffocating possessiveness, or her cold-blooded habit of killing people indiscriminately. And now she was asking me again. I had nothing left to hide. Didn't you read the letter I left you? I can't stand you killing people indiscriminately. You kill every woman around me if you could. Before you be satisfied. We broke up long ago. Let me go. With every word I spoke, Su Qingyu's lovely face grew colder. She was so furious that even the hand holding the gun trembled as she snarled. Jiang Shi'an, who told you? I agreed to break up. If you dare say break up to me again, believe it or not, I'll blow your brains out right now. I believe you. How could I not? When we first met, I watched her shoot 5 people dead in a row, seeing the man before her. Stop saying what she did not want to hear. Su Qingyu's rage eased slightly. She raised her hand and pushed me onto the bed. She put the pistol between her teeth. Then she took off her clothes. Her shapely body was revealed. Undressed, she looked utterly wild, and even more dangerous to handle. How could I simply surrender? I leaped off the bed in panic. Dodging around her, I ran for the door. I tried to unlock it, but a bang exploded beside my ear. The blast nearly deafened me. The hole in the door reminded me that this was no illusion. My legs gave out, and I collapsed to the floor. Su Qingyu was insane. She really dared to fire a gun in Huaguo. The tall woman approached from behind. She grabbed me and dragged me onto the bed. She knelt beside my legs. Looking at my shattered expression, she smiled and asked, "Still want to run? I can let you go." Jiang Shi'an, tell me, are your 2 legs faster, or is my gun? As she spoke, Su Qingyu pressed the pistol to my calf. I could not endure this psychological torment any longer. No matter what happened today, I could not remain involved with this madwoman. Otherwise, I'd never escape her in the future. If I die, I die. Steeling myself, I sat up. I looked at Su Qingyu without fear. Either kill me, or let me go. My words nearly drove her mad with rage. Murderous intent spread across Su Qingyu's face. Her teeth ground together audibly. She grabbed my throat, yet did not squeeze. She pinned me down and viciously forced out the words, "I'll kill you right now." Late the next night, Su Qingyu sat on the sofa. Her gaze drifted to the man on the bed, and her thoughts began to wander. Old Master Su was 60 when he finally had his daughter, Su Qingyu. Calling her the family's most cherished treasure would not be an exaggeration. Just after she was born, the Su family's overseas power base was thrown into turmoil. All the elders went to America to deal with it. Only her 2 biological older sisters and 7 older female cousins remained to care for her. After all, even her 9th sister was 5 years older than her. She met me 2 years ago. She was hunting down the leader of a rival faction, and pursued him all the way to France. That day, Su Qingyu went on a killing spree. She shot 50 people dead. After finishing them off, she leaned against the alley wall and called her scattered subordinates. Just then, a young boy ran in from the mouth of the alley. He looked very young. His youthful face was innocent yet seductive, so perfect it made one want to hide him away. That boy was me, just 18 years old. I ran in without looking at Su Qingyu. After scanning the area, I hurried to a dumpster. I opened it and jumped inside. Standing nearby, Su Qingyu coolly watched the boy's hand reaching out from inside. She only looked away after placing the lid back on the dumpster. A few seconds later, 5 burly French men came running over. After looking around and seeing only Su Qingyu, they spoke to her in broken English, asking whether she had seen a young boy. Su Qingyu lounged against the wall and ignored them. One of the burly men could not stand her indifferent attitude. He raised his gun, ready to shoot her, but the other stopped him. They searched around the alley. Finally, they stopped by the dumpster and kicked it hard. All 5 men looked delighted. The most hot-tempered man opened the dumpster and dragged me out. I was terrified to death, but I could not break free from the huge hand gripping my wrist. The men grabbed me and prepared to leave. Despair, fear, and terror swallowed me whole. From the corner of my eye, I saw the woman watching me. As if clutching at my last hope, I begged her, "Please, save me." A hint of amusement flashed in Su Qingyu's eyes as she looked at me. "Beg me. I do not make losing deals. Tell me, what do I get for saving you?" Even as they dragged me away, I understood her implication. I shouted resolutely, "If you save me, I'll do anything." Satisfied with my answer, Su Qingyu smiled. She drew the pistol tucked into the belt at her back. She raised it and blew the head off the brute gripping my wrist. A gunshot rang out. Warm blood sprayed all over me. I had no time to be afraid. I wrenched free and ran towards Qingyu. The 4 burly men had heard our exchange. They thought this Asian woman was no threat, but they never expected her to be so fearless. She had actually shot their companion dead. The 4 men raised their guns and opened fire on Qingyu. But how could they compare to Qingyu, who had endured inhuman treatment since childhood? Her shooting was fast and precise. Leaning against the wall without even dodging, she fired 4 shots. When the gunfire behind me stopped, my legs gave out halfway there. Qingyu strode over on her long legs. She bent down and helped me up. She led me to the car that had just stopped at the alley entrance. And we got in. Once Qingyu and I were seated, the black car sped away. Marie, Qingyu's subordinate, secretly watched me through the rearview mirror. Qingyu frowned. In a harsh tone, she said, "Do you want to lose your eyes?" Marie startled. She knew her curiosity had gone too far. Embarrassed, she fixed her eyes on the road and said nothing more. The car stopped at a villa in the suburbs. Qingyu opened her door and got out first. Turning back, she offered me her pale hand. Obediently, I took her hand and stepped out. Inside the villa, Qingyu pulled me into the bedroom. She kicked open the bathroom door. Her eyes swept over me from head to toe as she smiled and asked, "Will you wash yourself, or should I wash you?" I hurriedly shook my head, my voice tense. "I'll wash myself." Qingyu nodded. Then she walked out and closed the door. A while later, there was a knock. Standing outside, she asked impatiently, "Are you done?" I quickly grabbed the bathrobe beside me and tied it around myself. I answered anxiously, "I'm done. I'll be right out." After hearing my answer, Qingyu sat on the bed. A white bathrobe hung loosely round her body. The bathroom door opened softly. My face was flush red, tempting enough to make anyone want to take a bite. Qingyu had no desire for more pointless words. She rose, walked over, and pulled me onto the bed. Her cool, crimson lips pressed against mine. At noon the next day, I woke beside Qingyu. At first, I was dazed. Then I quietly tried to get out of bed, but she caught me the next second. Her voice was hoarse from sleep as she asked, "Where are you going?" Sitting on the bed, I turned around. I looked at the woman lying there with her eyes still closed, and cautiously asked, "I have something to do today. Can I go back and take care of it?" At that, Qingyu still did not open her eyes, but her lips curved as she said, "You're very clever." When she said nothing else, my heart sank. Cold sweat covered my palms. She did not intend to let me leave. She had opened her eyes and was looking at me. "First, tell me your name." I calmed down slightly and did not hide it. Shi'an. After hearing my name, Qingyu sat up and murmured it several times. She repeated the name Shi'an again and again, as if she wanted to carve it into her bones. The more she repeated it, the more frightened I became. Qingyu released my hand and got out of bed. When I saw the kiss marks on her back, I quickly turned my head away. By then, Qingyu had changed into black casual clothes. She turned to me and said, "The clothes on the bedside cabinet are new. Get dressed and come downstairs for breakfast. Then I'll drive you back." With that, she opened the door and went downstairs. Once she left, I let out a breath of relief. I put on the clothes and went downstairs. I found her frying eggs in the open kitchen. I walked over and sat at the dining table. My thoughts were a mess. I thought that once I got back to school, I would immediately book a flight back to China. Just then, Qingyu came over carrying milk in one hand, and fried eggs and bread in the other. She set breakfast in front of me, and sat across from me. "Eat." I obediently ate my breakfast. After I finished, Qingyu stood and headed outside first. I did not say a word on the way. Qingyu's expression was grim. Once the sports car left the villa complex, Qingyu asked, "Where do you need to go? How long will it take?" Suppressing my tangled emotions, I answered, "Mosi Academy. I will not be done until tomorrow morning." Hearing that, Qingyu tightened her grip on the wheel and flatly refused. "I will pick you up at 7 tonight." I pretended to be understanding. "I will be back by 7 sharp. If you have things to do, go ahead. We can see each other tonight." But the stunning woman smiled. Her smile was full of mockery. She slammed on the brakes, then turned to stare at me. "See you tonight. Are you sure? Do you know what happens to people who lie to me?" I looked at Qingyu, my voice utterly sincere. I am sure. Su Qingyu gave me a long look. Then she started the car and drove on. She did not stop until we reached the gates of Mosi Academy. Neither of us said another word. I looked at the familiar sight beyond the window. My heart leaped with excitement, but I dared not show it. I turned to the distracted Su Qingyu and softly asked, "Can I get out now?" Su Qingyu turned to look at me too. Her voice seemed squeezed through clenched teeth. "Are you sure there is nothing you want to tell me?" I did not look away. I met her eyes, my expression still open and sincere. "I'll tell you tonight, all right." Su Qingyu looked away and nodded. With her permission, I nearly sprouted wings and flew away. I opened the car door, trying to remain calm. Step by step, I escaped the woman's clutches. When I was almost at the academy gates, I heard someone call my name from behind. I had not completely escaped her yet, so I had no choice but to turn toward the woman across the street. Su Qingyu stood beside the sports car watching me. Her voice was quiet, but clear enough for me to hear. "Jiang Shi'an. My name is Su Qingyu." Then she smiled at me. She looked beautiful when she smiled. At least, in that moment, my heart gave a hard thump. I waved at her, then turned and entered the academy. Su Qingyu took out her phone and dialed the number. Once the other person answered, she issued a cold command. "Send people to surround Mosi Academy." In the dormitory, I packed my identification, diploma, and passport into a bag. Then I turned on my backup phone and booked the earliest flight. There was no time to pack the rest of my clothes and belongings, so I simply left them behind. I rushed out of the dormitory, only to run into someone at the entrance. It was a cleaning lady tidying up. 15 minutes later, the cleaner slowly wheeled the garbage cart out of the academy. That cleaner was me. At that moment, Mosi Academy was surrounded by men in black suits. Some were Asian, others Western. The returning students were deeply uneasy, afraid terrorists were about to cause chaos. As I pushed the garbage cart through the school gates, I was terrified. I was grateful I'd paid the cleaner and changed into her uniform. Otherwise, they would have grabbed me the moment I came out. The mask covered half my face. By chance, I caught sight of something from the corner of my eye. The men checking everyone were holding my photograph. Fortunately, they only glanced at me and did not question me. I pushed the garbage cart a long way. About half an hour later, I finally leaned against a wall, gasping for air. Time was short. I could not afford to calm down. I quickly dug my backpack out of the garbage cart. I was about to rush to the airport, but just as I slung my backpack over my shoulder, I looked up and saw ahead of me a tall, stunning woman standing there. She was staring at me without blinking. Her face was sweet and beautiful, yet she looked utterly terrifying to me. Su Qingyu strode toward me, one step at a time. An overwhelming pressure came with her. Her tone was calm. "See you tonight. Jiang Shi'an, you are very good at lying." I turned and ran. But how could I possibly outrun Su Qingyu, who was in peak physical condition? Before I even made it out of the street, she grabbed my wrist from behind. I was truly close to breaking down. I did not want to keep pretending with her. I looked at Su Qingyu and shouted, "I gave you everything last night. Why won't you let me go?" Seeing me like this, Su Qingyu felt utterly restless. It was not annoyance, but an indescribable ache. She looked up at me and answered earnestly, "I want to marry you." Those words left me so stunned that I could not speak for a long time. After a while, I murmured, "I do not like you. Do not waste any more time on me." Before I could finish, Su Qingyu pressed herself tightly against me. Her head rested against my chest. My heartbeat fell out of rhythm. Her sweet voice came from my arms. "I can wait. Wait until you love me. Jiang Shi'an, please give me a chance." In the end, Su Qingyu took me back to the villa. From then on, she prepared 3 meals for me every day. She washed my clothes by hand. No matter how late, she always came home. She did nothing but sleep beside me. Su Qingyu did not restrict my freedom. She only had people follow me closely from a distance. Su Qingyu often took me out too. She took me to nearly every corner of France. Whenever we came across something that interested me, I did not need to say a word. Su Qingyu would buy it without hesitation and give it to me. During those 3 months, she never once lost her temper, even though she knew I had lied about being from Nanji, and knew it was not true. Su Qingyu never secretly investigated me. It was her first relationship. She wanted to respect the man she loved as much as possible, as long as I did not leave her. She could overlook everything else. The turning point in our relationship came half a year after we met. That was the day I finally understood my own heart. At 2 in the morning, Qingzhu still had not come home. I tossed and turned in bed, unable to sleep. In the past 6 months, she had never come home this late. The longer I waited, the more unsettled I became. All kinds of thoughts flooded my mind. Had something happened to her? Or had she found another man? I sat up and got out of bed. I walked to the floor-to-ceiling window and looked down. Just then, a sports car drove into the courtyard. I wanted to see Qingzhu. I desperately wanted to see her that very second. I turned, threw open the door, and ran downstairs. The villa door had just opened. When I saw Marie and Jiang supporting Qingzhu, her face was pale, streaked with blood and sweat. Blood kept pouring from the gunshot wound on her chest. At that moment, a doctor in a white coat rushed in from outside. On the sofa, he quickly started in 4 and administered anesthetic to Qingzhu. Then he swiftly removed the bullet from her shoulder. I gripped the banister, too afraid to approach. I was terrified, not of the blood, but of something happening to her. What would I do then? Had I only just realized my feelings, only to lose her? The doctor was beginning to look anxious. His breathing grew heavier. Qingzhu's vital signs were growing weaker and weaker. Marie and Jiang rushed forward, their eyes red as they kept saying, Bossue, you have to hold on. More and more people rushed in, filling the ground floor. Their eyes were red as they shouted, Bossue. More sweat beaded on the doctor's forehead. His hands shook more violently. Anyone could see that the unconscious woman was in critical condition and might not make it. I staggered over and fell to my knees beside the sofa. I took her small hand. Qingzhu, can you hear me? I have fallen for you. I want you to live. If you live, I will marry you. Please, you have to survive. 2 minutes later, the doctor found that Qingzhu's condition had improved. Too stunned to react, he continued the operation. Beside them, I felt trapped in a nightmare. I kept talking about every little moment from our past 6 months together. Marie and Jiang turned away, taking the others outside the villa to stand guard. 3 days later, I woke up beside Qingzhu. I turned my head to look at her, and found her smiling back at me. I wanted to ask her, "Are you feeling better?" But she spoke first. "Were all those things you said true?" In reply, I gave Qingzhu a soft kiss. I gently kissed her lips and smiled. They were true. I like you. Qingzhu could hardly believe it was real. Her lovely laughter even woke Marie, who was sleeping downstairs. Helplessly, Marie grabbed her coat and covered her head. Then she went back to sleep. Another 6 months passed. We were inseparable. Qingzhu had never imagined she could love someone this much, or that her love would only grow deeper. She wished she could tuck me into her pocket every time she went out, never letting me leave her side. If she did not have to spill blood every time she went out, she truly would have done it. One day, just after Qingzhu left, I got a call from Ling, my senior from high school. She was holding an art exhibition in France. She asked whether I had time to help. Of course, I agreed. After washing up, I went to the closet and picked out a white shirt. After going downstairs and getting into the car, I headed to the venue for Ling's exhibition. After we arrived, the driver, one of Qingzhu's people, Ling Yao, turned to look at me. "Brother-in-law, I will wait here for you." I opened the car door and nodded to her. "I will be back as soon as I can." After getting out, I happened to see Ling escorting guests out. Her eyes lit up when she saw me. She jogged over, her voice gentle. "Shi'an, you came. Have you eaten? Let me take you to get something to eat first." I looked at my senior, whom I had not seen in 2 or 3 years, and felt happy to see her too. But I still shook my head. "No, thanks. I have already eaten." "Senior, take me inside first. Let us see if there is anything I can help with." Ling was a little disappointed at being turned down, but her smile did not fade as she softly said, "Shi'an, come in with me." The two of us went inside, one after the other. Inside the car, Ling Yao's brows were upon together. After hesitating for a long time, she took out her phone and made a call. Elsewhere, things were far less peaceful. Inside an unfamiliar villa, Qingzhu lounged lazily on the sofa. She glanced down at the man kneeling before her. "How do you want to die?" The man gave a bitter smile and shook his head. He quickly kowtowed to Qingzhu and begged, "Please spare my wife and child. Do whatever you want of me." Marie and Jiang, standing nearby, sneered. The rest of the men laughed coldly as well. This dumbass actually dares to beg our Bossue? Does he want an even more painful death? The man amused Qingyu too. She raised her gun and shot through his shoulder. She bent down and pressed the gun to his head. Any other requests? Go on. Let me hear them. Qingyu found him quite amusing. He had threatened one of her men into transporting drugs for him. When her man refused, he slaughtered his entire family. And now he had the nerve to come begging her. Did he really think Qingyu was so mild-tempered? Just then, a woman and a little boy ran downstairs. Seeing his father hurt, the boy tried to rush over. The man on the floor tried to stop him. But the next second, 2 gunshots rang through the villa. The woman and the boy were both shot cleanly in the head. They fell together into pools of blood. The man watched in utter despair. His mouth hung open, but no sound came out. Qingyu stood and looked at Murray. Do not let him die too easily. With that, she walked out of the villa. The moment Qingyu got into the car, her phone rang. She took it out and saw it was Ling Yao. Panic rose in her chest, making her fingers tremble. When the call ended, Qingyu's eyes reddened with rage. She started the sports car and sped away. Elsewhere, I saw it was getting late. So I said to Chen Ling, who was arranging the frames nearby, Senior, I should get going. I will help you revise that painting as soon as I get home. Chen Ling had planned to invite me to dinner once it got late, but that was clearly not happening. She picked up her coat and offered it to me. Put this on. It is probably getting chilly outside. I shook my head and declined. No need, Senior. I am not cold. After being rejected again and again, Chen Ling felt awful. She looked at me and cautiously asked, Do you have a girlfriend? I answered frankly, Yes, I have a girlfriend. Hearing that, Chen Ling could not tell whether she felt angry or upset. She had liked me since high school, but had never dared confess. She feared that if it went badly, we could not even remain friends. Over the past 3 years, she had kept in touch with me, and I had always treated her with cool indifference. Now that she had finally worked up the nerve to come all this way and pursue me, Shi'an already had a girlfriend. Seeing Chen Ling freeze, I clutched the drawing paper and hurried outside. I have felt uncomfortable here today. Senior Chen Ling kept glancing at me. The longing in her eyes was obvious even to someone as slow to notice things as me. I did not dare address it directly. Once I finish revising this painting, I will have someone deliver it. We should not see each other again. Chen Ling saw me leaving and hurried after me. Shi'an, I will see you out. But hearing that only made me walk faster. When I saw Ling Yao's car outside, I broke into a run. But I missed my footing and nearly fell to the ground. Chen Ling, who had followed behind, quickly grabbed my hand. Once I regained my balance, I hurriedly pulled free and stepped back to paces. Thank you, Senior. I will get going now. Then a gunshot rang out behind me. The next second, I saw blood pouring from Chen Ling's hand. The pain had drained the color from her lips. Cold sweat ran down both sides of her forehead. She clenched her teeth without making a sound. I wanted to pull her somewhere safe. But the next instant, someone threw herself into my arms. When I caught that familiar scent, I finally relaxed. Then 5 more shots rang out. This time, I saw it clearly. Qingyu was the one firing. I grabbed the raised gun. Qingyu, do not shoot again. There was not a trace of reason in the enraged woman's eyes. She looked at me coldly and said, Get out of my way. I am going to cripple her hand. How could I let go after hearing that? Still holding the gun, I coaxed her in a trembling voice. Can we go home? Can we go home right now? Seeing how frightened I was, Qingyu forcibly restrained her urge to kill. She slowly lowered the hand holding the gun. She took my hand and led me toward the sports car parked by the road. I did not dare look back at Chen Ling's injuries. I hoped she could call the hospital herself. Chen Ling's hand was riddled with bullet holes. Watching the two of us walk away, overwhelming rage and jealousy threatened to bury her. Enduring the searing pain, she shouted, Shi'an, she does not deserve you. She is a monster. The moment she said that, Qingyu stopped walking. She turned, raised her gun, and was about to kill the woman who had provoked her again and again. Fortunately, I reacted quickly. Just as Qingyu was about to fire, I shoved her. The shot went wide. Qingyu turned and gave me a cold look. She gripped my wrist and dragged me to the car. She opened the door and forcefully shoved me inside. Then she started the sports car and drove away. She drove extremely fast on the way back. When we reached the villa, Qingyu dragged me straight upstairs. She shoved me onto the bed and viciously demanded, "Why did you save her?" I sat up and looked at the furious woman standing beside the bed. I was furious too. "What about you? She only helped me because she was afraid I would fall. And you crippled her hand. You even tried to kill her. Qingyu, do you not think you went too far?" Qingyu fixed her bloodshot eyes on me and said cruelly, "Too far? She dared touch my man. She deserves to die." Her heartless words made me see red. When I said nothing, Qingyu took out her phone and ordered the person on the other end, "Get rid of that woman." But the next second, she saw me run from the bed to the balcony, as if I were about to jump. Terrified, Qingyu rushed over and grabbed my hand. She did not even have time to end the call. She said in a panic, "Wait, do not go." Qingyu was shocked and afraid. Holding my hand, she looked up at me. Her voice caught in her throat. "Is she really that important? Important enough that you would die for her?" I tried to explain. "She is not important, but I cannot stand by and watch an innocent person die because of me. Do not hurt anyone again. I will never see her again." Qingyu seemed to hear me, yet somehow did not. She let me go and walked out without a word. After that day, a thorn lodged itself in both our hearts. I never saw her during the day. At night, Qingyu came home without saying a word. She relentlessly had her way with me. In the end, she pushed me into a raging fever. My temperature stayed above 39 degrees Celsius and would not come down. Only then did Qingyu realize she had gone too far. She had only wanted me to give in. What had she done these past few days? By the time the doctor arrived, I was already unconscious. My heartbeat was growing weaker. Seeing that even he could do nothing, Qingyu had someone take me to the hospital. The moment we arrived, I was rushed into the emergency room. Qingyu leaned against the wall, her head bowed. Tears fell to the floor, one drop at a time. Before long, she raised a hand and slapped herself hard. She was terrified. Terrified that I would leave her. She could not live without me. Ling had been right. She did not deserve me. She really was a monster. Something had been wrong with Qingyu since she was 3 years old. She wanted to kill people, and she enjoyed it. The imagined thrill of killing made her tremble with excitement. She was fiercely possessive of anything she liked. No one was allowed to touch it. Otherwise, Qingyu would fly into a violent rage. Later, her eldest sister specially brought in experts to treat her, but nothing improved. Her sister had no choice but to discuss sending Qingyu abroad with their father. But Qingyu had imagined killing anyone, except the boy she loved. She had never imagined killing him. When the doctor wheeled me out, a crowd of men in black had already gathered outside the emergency room. The sight made her legs go weak. Thankfully, I had been saved. When she saw me being wheeled out, Qingyu staggered over to me. She grabbed my hand and would not let go. She still would not release it after we reached the ward. When I woke up the next day, I met a pair of bloodshot eyes. Seeing that I was awake, Qingyu nearly cried with relief as she carefully asked, "Do you still feel sick? Tell me where it hurts. I will get the doctor. Do you want something to eat? Or are you thirsty?" Seeing that she was about to keep asking, I squeezed Qingyu's hand and smiled helplessly. "You are asking too many questions. I do not even know which one to answer first." Qingyu froze, lowered her head, and spoke only after a long pause. "I was wrong. I am sorry." Tears slid from the corners of my eyes. I understood what she meant. Qingyu was apologizing for what happened before, but I was not the one she should have apologized to. I loved her. No matter what she did, I could never bring myself to be harsh with her. But Ling was a stranger to both of us. Even if Ling liked me, she should not have been punished just for helping me up, only for Qingyu to shoot her 6 times. I could not respond to her apology, because I was not the victim. The ward fell silent again. Neither of us spoke. When a doctor came on rounds, Qingyu got up and left. Just then, Mary arrived with food. From a distance, she saw her boss's lonely silhouette. Her heart ached. She carried the lunchbox over. Looking at the crowd below, Mary said, "Bossue, if you love someone, you need to respect and trust him. So, give Shi'an some space." With that, Mary gently set down the lunchbox, turned, and went downstairs. After she left, Qingyu remained standing there in silence. She understood all of it, but she just could not do it. After meeting me, her obsession had become several times worse than before. 15 minutes later, She finally picked up the lunchbox and entered the ward. At noon the next day, while Qingyu went downstairs to arrange my discharge, Ling unexpectedly pushed open the door and walked in. Her left hand was wrapped in bandages, but she looked much better. Ling smiled when she saw the surprise on my face. She walked over and sat beside my bed. Shi'an, did you not expect me to come visit you? I really did not. Before I could wonder how Ling knew I was hospitalized, I quickly sat up in bed, looking at the woman beside me. Ling, you need to leave now. My girlfriend will be back soon. I am fine, so do not worry. And I am sorry. I am sorry you were hurt because of me. I am sorry. Hearing the man she loved mention his girlfriend, Ling felt a sharp pain in her heart. She gave a bitter smile and shook her head. Shi'an, do not apologize. I have never blamed you. The next second, she looked at me earnestly. No longer hiding the love in her eyes, she asked me, Shi'an, I like you. Do you really not like me at all? Ling desperately hoped to see hesitation or conflict on my face, but none of what she hoped for appeared. Seeing this, she stood and walked toward the door. If she did not leave now, she was afraid she would cry in front of the boy she loved. She could not do that. It was the last of her dignity. Just as she pulled open the ward door, my voice came from behind her. Ling, forget about me. At those words, Ling finally let her tears fall. Without saying anything, she opened the door and hurried away. At the end of the hallway, Mary and Jiang could not hold Qingyu back, no matter how hard they tried. They pinned Qingyu by the shoulders, cold sweat pouring down their faces. Seeing Bossue's bloodshot eyes, Jiang could not stop herself from cursing. Mary, look at this rotten idea of yours. Mary was furious at being blamed too. Last night, she had told Bossue that she had a way to make Shi'an stop being angry. She had deliberately called Bossue downstairs just now and arranged for that woman, Ling, to see Shi'an. The moment Bossue found out, she punched Mary. Who had Mary done all this for? And now look what happened. Seeing Ling still had not come out, Bossue was about to take a gun inside and kill her. Mary hurriedly said, Bossue, calm down. She will be out soon. If you rush in now, Shi'an will definitely be even angrier. Jiang stopped berating her and nodded. That is right, Bossue. Wait another 2 minutes. If she is still not out by then, I will go in and drag her out. Qingyu could not wait. If she had known this was Mary's plan, she would have killed her for it. In her fury, Qingyu was more than the two of them could restrain. She raised her hand and punched Mary in the face. Mary hit the floor instantly. Qingyu coldly looked at Jiang, who was still gripping her arm. Then she threw another punch. Luckily, Jiang reacted quickly, let go, and jumped aside. Without even looking at them, Qingyu strode toward the ward. Would Ling touch Shi'an? Would she say bad things about her? Would she? Countless terrifying thoughts flooded Qingyu's mind. Before she reached the ward, she saw Ling walking toward her. The two women passed each other without a word. Inside the ward, I slowly got out of bed to use the restroom. Just then, the door was shoved open. I turned around and saw Qingyu hurrying toward me. I froze for only a moment. Then I realized Qingyu must have run into Ling. I had not heard any gunshots just now. It seemed she had not hurt anyone this time. Qingyu held me up. Only after feeling my warmth did she relax slightly. But it was not enough. She led me to the window, pressed my back against the wall, and desperately kissed me. The air in the ward turned scorching hot. That kiss lasted nearly 20 full minutes. I shook my head, resisting helplessly. Let go of me first. I need to use the restroom. At that, Qingyu lifted her head. Looking into my eyes, she said hoarsely, I will take you. The wards in this hospital did not have private restrooms. Hearing that she wanted to take me, I quickly refused. No, I will go by myself. Fortunately, Qingyu did not insist. I will wait here for you. I nodded, opened the door, and walked out. For some reason, whenever I faced Qingyu, I felt increasingly troubled and irritated. Perhaps it was because everyone around me had been gentle, warm, and courteous since I was young. Suddenly meeting such a domineering, forceful woman was difficult for me to accept. Just then, an apple rolled to my feet. I bent down and picked it up. When I straightened up, I saw a girl of 16 or 17 running toward me. Her black short-sleeved shirt was in tatters. Her young face was black and blue, though I had no idea who had beaten her. The girl ran up to me, looking awkwardly at the apple in my hand. I quickly held the apple out to her. Clearly, she had dropped it by accident. The girl froze briefly and reached out. She carefully tried to take it from my hand, but doctors and nurses rushing toward us bumped into her. Her hand brushed gently over mine. The unexpected contact startled us both. Luckily, the girl reacted quickly. She took the apple, nodded at me with a blush, and turned away. I did not think much of it and headed for the men's restroom. When I came out and stood in the hallway, I saw a rainbow in the sky through the window. It was beautiful. It lifted my spirits considerably. I headed up the stairs toward the rooftop. I wanted to watch the rainbow for a while before going back. When I reached the top floor, I heard muffled groans from the rooftop. I was not usually curious, but for some reason, I secretly cracked the door open and looked inside. On the rooftop, Qingzhu ground the heel of her high-heeled shoe into the girl's hand. She spat viciously. "You have some nerve. You dared touch my man." Jiang and Mary stood nearby, grimacing, but did not step in. The girl lying on the ground was the very girl I had met earlier. She had even more injuries than before. The girl did not make a sound. She seemed weak to fight back, or simply unable to. Qingzhu raised her foot and kicked the girl in the head. Hot, wet blood spurted out. Seeing Qingzhu was still not satisfied and about to strike again, Mary and Jiang rushed forward to restrain her. "Enough, Boyue. She is mute." Jiang knew her. The girl fought in underground boxing matches. The girl had been recommended to Jiang by one of her underlings. Her name was Qingzhu. Her mother was hospitalized and needed a great deal of money for medical bills. Qingzhu's family was poor. Having enough food and warm clothes was hard enough, let alone covering treatment cost. So, Jiang's underling recommended Qingzhu to Jiang. Qingzhu now competed at Jiang's boxing ring. To be honest, Jiang admired Qingzhu. She was fearless and followed the rules. The only problem was that she had been mute since childhood. Qingzhu and Boyue should never have crossed paths. But who could have expected that Boyue would see her touch brother-in-law's hand? Wasn't she doomed now? Jiang spoke up. "Boyue, brother-in-law will worry when he returns to the ward and cannot find you." Those words brought Qingzhu back to her senses slightly. She reined in her brutality, glanced down at the girl on the ground, then strode away. Jiang looked down at the badly injured Qingzhu. She sighed. Luckily, Boyue had not wanted her dead. In the past, if someone angered Boyue, they would have died several times over. Mary and Jiang followed Qingzhu away. I hid behind a trash can by the stairs. Only when the footsteps descending the stairs faded away did I stiffly stand up. I pushed open the rooftop door and walked toward the girl. Qingzhu lay on the ground, staring blankly ahead. Why had they not just killed her? Living was so exhausting. Why had they spared her? A pair of white slippers stopped in front of Qingzhu. I slowly crouched down before her. I took a bank card from my pocket and held it out to her. I said guiltily, "I am sorry. I got you hurt. There is no password on this card. Use it to see a doctor." Qingzhu's face was covered in blood. She struggled to open her eyes and see the boy before her clearly. Qingzhu rubbed her eyes with her uninjured hand. She looked up at me but said nothing. I did not dare delay any longer. I was afraid Qingzhu would grow tired of waiting for me and come looking for me. The girl did not speak, and I could not just leave the card on the ground. Would that not be insulting her? I bent down, took Qingzhu's uninjured hand, and placed the bank card in her palm. Then I softly said again, "I am sorry." Only then did I stand to leave. But as I lifted my foot, an icy hand grabbed my ankle. I looked down at the girl, confused. Did she want to hit me? That made sense. After all, she was hurt because of me too. It was only natural for her to want to vent. But the next second, the girl tilted her head back and smiled. Her smile was not beautiful. Her face was covered in blood, obscuring her features. Yet her teeth were especially white. Still, I thought her smile was beautiful, because I could feel how happy she was at that moment, and how pure that happiness was. I looked down at her and smiled too. Qingzhu slowly released my hand. I did not have time to say anything more. I hurriedly opened the rooftop door and left. After I left, Qingzhu slowly climbed to her feet. She took a photo of the bank card in her hand with the rainbow overhead. Then she smiled again. The rainbow was so beautiful, but she did not deserve it. In the hospital room, Qingzhu sat on the bed, watching the rainbow outside as well. When she returned and did not see me, She ran to wait outside the restroom. A doctor happened to be going in then. So Qingyu asked him to look for me. The doctor searched the whole restroom but found no one. Ignoring his urgent need to use the restroom, he rushed out to tell Qingyu. He told Qingyu to search somewhere else. Where was she supposed to look? Where could she even look? Was I avoiding her? Had she become so repulsive to me already? Qingyu rose from the bed and walked to the window. She took her phone from her pocket and dialed a number. It rang several times without an answer. Qingyu suppressed her irritation. Then, at last, the call was answered. The woman's voice was cool, yet touched with surprise. Qingyu, what made you think to call your big sister? Have you run into some trouble? Suwaning had every reason to think so. Her younger sister had lived abroad alone for so many years, and had never once called the family on her own. Usually, whichever of them missed her most would call her instead. Out of 10 calls, she might answer 2. Qingyu said softly, Big sis, is that specialist you mentioned last time still in France? If she is, have her come see me tomorrow. Suwaning paused in surprise. Then she asked softly, Yes, she is. I will have her come to you tomorrow. Did something happen? Do you want me to come see you? Just then, the hospital room door opened. I walked in. Qingyu turned to look at me. Fine beads of sweat covered the tip of my straight nose, and my chest was heaving. I looked like I had rushed back from somewhere. Qingyu coolly said 2 words into the phone. No need. Then she hung up. Qingyu took a tissue from the bedside and walked toward me. She gently wiped away my sweat. Why did you rush back like that? I will always wait for you. There was a deeper meaning behind those words. I pretended not to understand and let her wipe my sweat away. I will not rush like that again. After wiping away my sweat, Qingyu reached out and caressed my face. Her dark eyes seemed ready to pull me completely into them. Then promise me you will never run away again, okay? I was terrified. So terrified that my hands at my sides clutched the sides of my pants uncontrollably. Did she know something? I did want to run away. The moment I saw Qingyu's brutality on the rooftop, I resolved to leave her. I could not understand her unreasonable cruelty, nor could I excuse her vicious methods. I loved her, and I respected her. For all this time, I had never dared ask Qingyu what she did, or where she came from. I naively believed that to love someone, all that mattered was that she treated you well. But reality was not that simple. I could overlook anything else, but I could not accept Qingyu hurting innocent people because of me. I could stop her once or twice. But what about the things I never found out about? Up on the rooftop just now, I did not dare show myself because I was afraid. Not afraid of arguing with Qingyu, but afraid that if I rashly appeared to defend Qingzhu might lose her life. With Qingyu's twisted possessiveness and obsession, she could easily make sure I never saw another woman for the rest of my life. But that was not what I wanted. I believed that with women, I always kept a distant, appropriate boundary. Yet Qingyu still suspected and doubted me. I wanted to break up with Qingyu, seeing that I said nothing, and had no idea what I was thinking. Qingyu's pretty face darkened completely. What was Shi'an thinking about? Another woman, or leaving her? The fury in Qingyu's heart was about to consume her. Her last shred of reason roared at her, telling her to stay calm. She could not have any more conflict with me. Otherwise, she would only push me farther away. But Qingyu was obsessive and fiercely possessive by nature. She was not so easily talked down. She wrapped her arms around my neck. Her tone was far from gentle. Say you love me. Forced to lower my head, I did not want to say it. But when I saw the desire and longing spilling from Qingyu's eyes, I could only answer slowly. I love you. Qingyu was the one who had demanded those words. Yet hearing them made her laugh in anger. No, that was wrong. What Shi'an said was completely wrong. When her boy was swept up in passion, every I love you he said was full of love. But this time, his I love you had turned hollow. I really could not even lie convincingly. As Qingyu's smile grew more frightening, panic flooded my heart. I tried to pry her small hands from my neck, but I could not break free. Ignoring my struggle, Qingyu took out her phone with her other hand and dialed the number. She put it on speaker and tossed it onto the bed. Mary's voice soon came through. Boyue, why haven't you come down yet? At that moment, Qingyu kept kissing my neck. Again and again. Clear everyone off this floor. Do not let anyone disturb me. Hearing that baffling order, Mary was utterly stunned. She had not misunderstood, had she? Sister Yu wasn't about to sleep with him, was she? After hanging up, Mary and Jiang hurried to make arrangements. Jiang called the hospital director, while Mary sent their people to guard the floor. If some fool disturbed Sister Yu, they would all pay dearly for it. Back in the hospital room, before I could figure out what was happening, Qingyu pinned me against the wall. My chest pressed tightly against the cold wall. Then I heard a belt being undone behind me. Even an idiot would know what was about to happen. Blushing in humiliation, I tried to stop her. Qingyu, stop. Can we wait until we get home to do this? Let me go. I do not want this here. The woman behind me refused imperiously. No, I cannot wait another second. I'm doing it now. I hated the woman behind me. She did not respect my wishes at all. She ignored my objections. How could someone like her be worthy of sharing a life through thick and thin? It was my fault for being so naive. I had been wrong beyond belief. Qingyu was suffering too. Her man did not just reject her in his heart. Even his body recoiled from her. Qingyu leaned close behind my ear, her warm breath carrying a threat. Baby, if you dare resist again, I will make sure you cannot leave this hospital room for 3 days. That threat worked. I did not dare resist again. Silently, I swore I would escape her. The last love and reluctance in my heart vanished completely at that moment. Not until late that night did Qingyu finally clean me up herself. Then Qingyu dressed me in my shirt, wrapped me securely in a blanket. Then she carried me on her back and walked out the door. On the way, I kept mumbling, I love you. I want you. Clearly, Qingyu had driven me into nightmares. After it was over, Qingyu took me back to the villa. On the way back to the villa, Qingyu drove very slowly. She had made a complete mess of the only love she had ever known. Once her stubbornness flared up, even she could not control it. Did her baby hate her even more now? Tomorrow morning, she would have an honest talk with me about her illness, about her willingness to cooperate with treatment. She would beg me not to give up on her or leave her. She would try to change for me. Whatever kind of person I liked, she would learn to become that person. If she could not learn it, she would pretend. She would pretend in front of me for the rest of her life. Her baby did not like her killing people for no reason. Then she would try not to kill. As long as I did not leave her, she could change anything. After arriving at the villa, Qingyu carried me upstairs to the second-floor bedroom, where she took a bath. Afterward, she lay in my arms and fell asleep. Around 4 in the morning, a ringtone suddenly sounded. I impatiently covered my ears in bed. Qingyu sat up. She picked up her phone from the nightstand. Then she answered it. Mary's anxious voice came through the phone. Sister Yu, the mafia has taken down headquarters. Qingyu tightened her grip on the phone, though rage churned inside her. Her voice remained quiet. Gather our people. We leave for the United States in 30 minutes. Then she hung up. Qingyu turned to look at the boy sleeping soundly beside her. She hesitated over whether to take me with her, but she quickly rejected the idea. This trip was too dangerous. If she took me back with her and failed to protect me, letting me get hurt, what would she do? Qingyu quietly slipped out of bed. She took camouflage clothes from the wardrobe and changed into them. Then she retrieved the guns from the safe. Once everything was ready, she went to the bedside and leaned down, her hands braced on either side of me. She greedily gazed at me for a long moment. She lowered her head and kissed my thin lips once more, then rose and left. Downstairs, Ling Yao was sleeping soundly against the car seat, until a knock woke her. She opened her eyes and hurriedly rolled down the window. Keep a close watch on him. Give him anything he wants. With that, Qingyu drove away in the sports car nearby. No one expected that after she left, I would get out of bed. Rather, the moment the phone rang, I had already woken up. Mary had spoken so loudly that it was impossible not to hear her. I rushed to the vanity, crouched down, and lifted the rug. I took out the passport and documents I had hidden. My hands trembled slightly. I had hidden them when I first moved into the villa, so I could escape someday. Without question, this was my best chance. Before dawn fully broke, I could try to escape. Otherwise, soon enough, because Qingyu had left, she would surely send more people to guard me at the villa. If I could just get past Ling Yao outside, I could leave. I took out a black tracksuit. After changing into it, I took paper and a pen from the bedside and left a letter. It contained very few words. I wrote that I was breaking up with Qingyu. I truly could not endure her. indiscriminate killing, and sick possessiveness. I told her not to look for me. After leaving the letter, I opened the door in the darkness and carefully went downstairs. I sneaked into the kitchen. I opened the window and jumped out. The fence behind the kitchen was very high. I was not confident I could climb it, so I crawled through the dog hole beside it. When I first arrived, Qingzhu kept a hunting dog. It was vicious, as brutal as its owner. It often barked at me whenever I came outside. One time, somehow, it broke free of its heavy chain and lunged at me. Luckily, Qingzhu drove back just then. The moment she saw it, she shot it dead with a single bullet. Afterward, seeing how terrified I was, she apologized to me again and again. She promised never to keep another dog here. I never imagined that to escape today, I would have to rely on this dog hole. After escaping the villa, I took to steps and spotted 2 cars parked nearby. 7 or 8 men in black stood before them playing cards. They worked for Qingzhu. I had thought only Ling was guarding me at the villa. Clearly, I was wrong. But there was no turning back now. Today, I was getting away. Perhaps heaven wanted to help me. Just then, the leader's phone rang. They quickly dropped their cards, turned around, and got into the cars. The instant their backs were turned, I darted away in a flash. I made almost no sound, and a light drizzle had begun to fall. So the men in black noticed nothing amiss. I ran desperately down the narrow road. Tears silently streamed down my face as I ran. I did not know if they came from the joy of escaping my cage, or because of Qingzhu, and the last trace of reluctance I still felt for her. By the time I reached the highway, dawn was breaking. There was not a single car on the road, but this was my only way out. Then a minivan approached from behind me. I stood in the middle of the road and stopped it. I had to take a chance, but that the people inside were not Qingzhu's. If I won, I could leave. If I lost, I would be dragged back to that suffocating villa. Luckily, the family of 3 who got out of the minivan were not her people. When they heard I was heading to the airport, they offered me a ride. They drove me to the airport. Not until I bought a ticket for the earliest flight, and the plane took off, did I finally breathe easy. By then, my clothes were drenched in cold sweat. It was a direct flight to the United Kingdom. I had planned to hold an art exhibition in the United Kingdom that year, so I deliberately changed my ticket to the United Kingdom. Through the plane window, I watched France fade into the distance. Silently, I said goodbye. Meanwhile, Qingzhu was flying directly to the United States. Her heart clenched with pain, and her brows were tightly furrowed. Mary and Jiang watched her from the helicopter, unable to hide their concern. Finally unable to bear it, Qingzhu took out her phone and dialed his number. She held it to her ear and waited anxiously. Seeing this, Mary kept the helicopter hovering in midair. But sadly, no one answered. Qingzhu called twice more, with the same result. Could Chen be asleep and unable to hear it? Call him again at noon. I was not wearing any clothes. Qingzhu could hardly send Ling upstairs to wake me. When Qingzhu put her phone back into her camouflage pocket, Mary resumed flying the helicopter toward the United States. 50 helicopters followed close behind it. The sight was spectacular. 6 months later, the woman in an intensive care unit in the United States finally woke up. The room was packed with people. Everyone's eyes brimmed with tears. Jiang and Mary were the most overwhelmed. Both were sobbing uncontrollably. Mary knelt on one knee beside the bed, clutching Qingzhu's hand. Through her tears, she cried, "Sister Yu, you're finally awake. You scared us to death." 6 months earlier, just after they arrived at headquarters, the mafia had surrounded them in an ambush. They had faced dangers far worse than this countless times before. But that day, no one knew what was wrong with Sister Yu. She kept losing focus whenever she fired. From time to time, she even clutched her chest. Then someone from the mafia fired a shot from hiding. By the time they realized it, Sister Yu had already been shot through the chest and collapsed to the ground. Terrified, they wiped out the mafia and rushed Sister Yu to the hospital. But the doctors told them she could not be saved. Luckily, Jiang called her cousin over to operate on Sister Yu. The surgery went well, but Sister Yu did not wake up afterward. Left with no choice, Mary and Jiang brought in many specialists. Their only answer was to wait. They said if Sister Yu did not wake up, she might remain in a vegetative state for life. Thankfully, Sister Yu woke up today. Mary sobbed. If she had not woken up soon, they truly would have gone mad. Qingzhu glanced at Mary and Jiang. Her voice, unused for 6 months, was harsh and grating. Where is he? Did you not tell him I was hurt? At those words, the room fell silent. Even Mary and Jiang stopped sobbing. Their eyes turned evasive. But who was Su Qingyu? She saw at once that something was wrong. Su Qingyu struggled to sit up and demanded anxiously. What happened to Jiang? Is he in trouble? Jiang, tell me. Mary looked helplessly at Jiang. She opened her mouth, then closed it again. Jiang sighed. She took a sheet of white paper from the drawer beside her. After hesitating, she handed it to Su Qingyu. Su Qingyu took it with trembling hands. After reading every word on the page, half an hour had passed. Expressionless, she used her fingers to trace every word written on it. Jiang wanted to break up with her. He did not want her anymore. He had run away. How cruel he was. Leave. Su Qingyu's gaze remained fixed on the letter. Mary and Jiang gave her worried looks. Then they were the first to leave. The remaining subordinates followed them out. Once everyone had left, Su Qingyu's reddened eyes spilled over with tears. She hated Jiang so much. She hated his cruelty. She hated his heartlessness. She hated that he wanted to break up with her, instead of waiting for her return to tell her. Su Qingyu had no idea where she could find me. Even in the final moment before she was shot, she had been thinking of me. But what was I doing at that very moment? Was I celebrating my escape from her? Jiang. Su Qingyu wanted to tear this so-called breakup letter to pieces. But the next second, she pressed it to her chest. She could not bear to. Even though it was my breakup letter, she could not bring herself to destroy it. It was the only thing I had ever given her. Fine, break up. Jiang, run as far as you want. Escape all you want. Su Qingyu, am letting you go. You do not want me. I do not want you either. I will never want you again. By the time Su Qingyu left the hospital, another month had passed. During that month, her subordinates barely dared to breathe. Sister Yu had always been terrifying. But ever since Sister Yu's ex had broken up with her, she had become so strange she barely seemed human. Standing beside Sister Yu sent chills into their bones. If they did not know why, they would have thought that, at their young age, they had come down with rheumatism. A nightclub in Yunxi, United States. Today was Mary's 23rd birthday, so she invited her sisters to celebrate at one of her own venues. Yet the private room was unnaturally quiet. Su Qingyu, dressed in black casual clothes, lounged lazily against the sofa. Her features were cool and stunning. The dim light gilded the loose strands of hair around her face. Seeing this, Mary and Jiang thought that if they were into women, they would definitely fall for Sister Yu. Su Qingyu gave them a casual glance. Have fun however you like. Do not mind me. The moment she said that, the dozen or so women in the private room finally breathed a sigh of relief. None of them were exactly innocent. They had come out to have fun with men, of course. Without Sister Yu's permission, who would dare bring men in? Mary was hosting tonight, so naturally she went out to find some quality men to bring in. Before long, 20 handsome men followed behind her. Su Qingyu closed her eyes, pretending to doze. Every so often, she took a sip of wine. Once inside, the handsome men readily kept the remaining women company, drinking with the other women, and playing dice. But then, one innocent-looking young man let out a sigh. He looked barely over 20. He was sitting on Mary's sister, Luca's lap, struggling desperately. The commotion was so loud that, aside from Su Qingyu, everyone turned to look. A trace of helplessness crossed Luca's beautiful face. Then she let him go. The innocent-looking, handsome Danny hurriedly got to his feet. He backed away in fear. Let me go. I do not want to do this. The manager forced me to come here. Please, let me go. He cried pitifully. But the women in the private room had no interest in watching. They were panicking inside. Mary was the most panicked of all. This nightclub was her business, and someone had actually forced an innocent person into prostitution. Were they tired of living? The women all looked at Su Qingyu in alarm. The handsome men did not dare say a word either. Su Qingyu still did not open her eyes. She merely said coolly, Mary, explain what is going on. Yet everyone there could feel her fury. Mary thought that even if she were dead, something this outrageous would make her furious enough to come back to life. Sister Yu had said, their businesses could have male models, but no one could be forced into the trade. Mary was going out to ask, what the hell was wrong with that bastard manager? Mary stood, suppressing her anger as she looked at Su Qingyu. Sister Yu, I will go ask first. Just then, something seemed to set Danny off. He lunged towards Su Qingyue's legs. He dropped to his knees and reached for her pants. But the next second, Su Qingyue opened her eyes and kicked him away. Danny, sprawled on the floor from the kick, sat up trembling. He did not dare come closer again. Please, do not tell the manager. Otherwise, she will beat me to death. I am begging you. Danny wept as he spoke. His chest trembled with sobs. He looked utterly pathetic. Unfortunately, none of the women there were fools. If they still could not see what was happening, they had no business in the underworld. A faint smile touched Su Qingyue's lips as she sat upright. She looked down at him. You have taken a liking to me. At those words, Danny put on a perfect display of innocent seduction. He looked both embarrassed and indignant. Do not talk nonsense. I am only begging you. Please help me. After saying that, Danny trembled miserably and spoke again. As long as you do not tell the manager, I will do anything you want. Jiang and the others burst out laughing. Even Mary could not hold it in. She thought, what an idiot. Which rival had sent him? Did their boss look like a woman desperate for men? At that thought, Mary's smile froze. Their boss really was missing a man. But the only man she wanted was their brother-in-law. Disgust flashed in Su Qingyue's eyes. She could not be bothered to say another word. She waved a hand at Mary, signaling for her to take the men away. But Danny was not about to give up. When he had entered earlier, he had wanted this woman at first sight. He did not know what she did, but that did not stop Danny from wanting her. He was certain this woman could make him feel like he was in heaven. Danny concealed his thoughts and stood. He grabbed a wine glass and charged at Su Qingyue again. Seeing this, Mary rushed over and restrained him. Wine spilled uncontrollably from the glass. By sheer bad luck, it splashed right onto Su Qingyue's pants. Then, the next second, the gentle, stunning woman smashed the wine glass in her hand viciously over Danny's head. Blood burst out at once, covering his entire face. Su Qingyue sprang to her feet in panic. Carefully, from her pocket, she took out the neatly folded letter. When she saw it had been soaked, a fierce killing intent radiated from Su Qingyue. Her beautiful phoenix eyes turned bloodshot. She had no time to torment the damned man. Her hands trembling, she gently unfolded the letter. But the next second, the paper looked ready to fall apart. Su Qingyue was so terrified that her teeth chattered. Seeing this, Jiang hurried to the restroom and fetched a hairdryer. She hurried back to Su Qingyue. She plugged it in, set it to its lowest setting, and handed it to Su Qingyue. The atmosphere was awkward and suffocating. No one dared speak. More than a dozen women sat on the sofas, silently watching their boss dry the breakup letter their brother-in-law had left her. How did they know? Their boss took it out to look at every day. Sometimes she stared at it for an hour. She looked ready to cry as she read it. Half an hour later, Su Qingyue finally managed to dry it with the hairdryer. She cautiously unfolded the letter, only to find some of the writing had blurred beyond recognition. The temperature in the private room suddenly dropped several more degrees. Su Qingyue pulled out a gun. She aimed it at Danny, who was in too much pain to stand steadily. Mary released him and stepped aside. The next second, several gunshots rang out from the private room. The gunfire continued for nearly 10 minutes. Then, a tall woman emerged from inside. She staggered as she walked, carefully shielding something against her chest with both hands. Inside the private room, Mary drove all the men out. She scratched her head in frustration. Have you still not found our brother-in-law? The others stayed silent, equally frustrated. Sister, you had forbidden them from looking for their brother-in-law. But after all this time, watching her suffer broke their hearts. Sister, you could neither eat nor sleep properly. Every night, she had to drink herself unconscious, just to get 2 hours of sleep. At this rate, she might suddenly drop dead. But that was not even the worst part. The worst part was that their boss risked her life on every mission. Even with a gun, she relied solely on hand-to-hand combat. Just then, the nightclub manager rushed in. When she saw Danny's body riddled with bullet holes on the floor, she let out a fierce breath of satisfaction. God knew how frightened she had been when the male escorts came out and told her what had happened in the private room. Seeing the manager, Mary knew she was not involved. She waved a hand and said, "Feed him to the dogs." After that, she ignored her. The manager moved quickly. She stepped forward, grabbed Danny by the hair, and dragged him out. At the villa, Su Qingyue, her eyes red-rimmed, looked down at the breakup letter on the table. She clutched her head in anguish and choked out, "Shi'an, you have to write me another breakup letter. A few months later, Qingyu finally pinpointed my location. By then, I was preparing to return to China. It was no wonder Qingyu took so long to find me. I simply had not dared reveal myself. In Britain, I lived in a remote town. I did not socialize or use my real identity. Even when I held art exhibitions, I never appeared in person. Qingyu only found me because the men watching Chen Ling informed her. I had mailed Chen Ling a painting worth over 100 million yuan to compensate her for the harm she had suffered. Without that painting, Qingyu might never have found me in her lifetime. At the same time, she investigated everything about my life from childhood to adulthood. When she learned I had returned to China for a blind date, Qingyu was so furious that she trashed her study. She fought the urge to fly to Britain and drag me back immediately. Instead, she took the earliest flight back to China to wait for me. Qingyu wanted to see who would dare marry her man, and just how heartless her man truly was. At the hotel, Qingyu walked toward the man on the bed. As she looked at my unconscious form, her heart still felt hollow. She had returned a few days before me. Yesterday, she had been gathering with her 9 older sisters at Shi'an bar. Then she got word that I had come to the bar with friends. Qingyu was overjoyed. She could not wait to come out and find me. But what did she find? The man she had pined for day and night was watching female models dance. And there were so many of them. Qingyu did not even dare go downstairs to confirm that her darling was sitting by a booth on the first floor. Until I turned and looked at her, Qingyu could no longer lie to herself. She was about to explode with rage. She had never been this angry in her life. What infuriated her even more was that the moment I saw her, I turned and ran. What? Was she a ghost? How could she make Shi'an so afraid? Or had she not treated him well enough? Qingyu knelt on the bed, staring at me as I slept. The longer she looked, the angrier she became. How could Shi'an sleep so peacefully? The next morning, when I opened my eyes, searing pain swept through my entire body. Then my phone began to ring. Following the sound, I saw my clothes on the floor. I climbed out from under the covers, bent down, picked up my clothes, and pulled out my phone. I swiped to answer and put it to my ear. Before I could speak, a sleazy laugh came from the other end. Shi'an, how have the past 2 days been? Enjoying yourself? Feel good? At Shen Rui's teasing, my face darkened. I turned and glanced at the sleeping woman on the bed. Lowering my voice, I said, "Send someone to pick me up. I'm at the Boyue hotel. Make it quick." Shen Rui was clearly confused. Just yesterday, while dining with Xiao Han, he had said that the Su family's 10th daughter might be Zhang Xian's ex-girlfriend. Now that they had reunited, he thought old flames would surely reignite. But Zhang Xian's tone did not sound like that at all. Why did it sound like he had been forced? I had never told Shen Rui or Xiao Han about my mysterious ex-girlfriend, so they really did not know much. Shen Rui did not dare make reckless jokes anymore. He rose from the sofa at home, heading for the garage as he reassured me, "I'm coming to get you now." After hanging up, I picked up my clothes from the floor and got dressed. But then, a small hand suddenly reached out from behind me. The woman dragged me back onto the bed again. Qingyu braced both hands on either side of me, smiling as she looked at me. "Why didn't you answer his questions? Didn't you enjoy yourself these past 2 days?" I cursed under my breath. "You're insane." She really was insane. Turning away from her, I said softly, "Just let me go home first. We can talk about anything else another day." The next moment, Qingyu got off the bed. She sprawled carelessly on the sofa and cast me a sit-along glance. Then she said loudly, "You can leave. But first, come register our marriage with me, then I'll let you go." Hearing that, I shot upright in bed in fright. I looked at her and refused without hesitation. "No, I won't marry you." Setting aside how terrifying Qingyu was, I had long since stopped loving her. How could I possibly agree to marry her? Seeing me resist, Qingyu's heart shattered. She lowered her gaze to the carpet beneath her feet. "Shi'an, I'm not asking for your opinion." I finished dressing and walked over to Qingyu. I knelt on one knee on the carpet. My voice was soft but clear. "Qingyu, it's all in the past. It truly is. Please let yourself move on and let me go too." Qingyu looked at me. When she saw the scrutiny and calculation in my eyes, the corner of her mouth curled up. "You've moved on, but I haven't. You may be able to let go, but I can't. Shi'an, did you ever truly love me?" Why is letting go so easy for you? Her question left me uneasy. I had considered that question before. Maybe I had loved Qingyu, but that love had never been entirely genuine. Clearly, I did not want to answer her. So I continued. Qingyu, you just can't accept it. Believe me. Soon, you'll move on. I'm really not worth this. Watching the man become more outrageous with every word. The last thread of Qingyu's reason finally snapped. The smile on her face slowly widened. She forced out the words. Can't accept it. Move on. Shi'an, can't you see that I cannot live without you? As she spoke, Qingyu rose from the sofa. She dropped to her knees right before me. Her trembling hand gently caressed my face. Let me marry you, okay? Will you stay by my side for the rest of your life? Shi'an, I miss you so much. I miss you so much I can barely go on living. I sat on the sofa without saying a word. But Qingyu seized my hand and pressed it to her chest. Shi'an, my heart hurts. Please help me. Make it stop hurting, please. I'm begging you. Feeling her frantic heartbeat, my hand felt as though it had been burned. I tried to pull my hand away, but Qingyu held it firmly in place. Just then, the phone on the sofa rang abruptly. I tried to grab it and answer, but Qingyu got to it first. She picked up the phone and answered coolly. Go back home. I'll take him home. Before Shen Rui could say anything, she hung up. I was about to casually toss the phone onto the bed, but then I seemed to remember something. My fingers swiped across the screen.